a weekday of trade. It looks like we're going to close maybe just below 9,800. And we've seen broader markets also under pressure today. So close to 2% lower is what we're looking at as we wind down. And of course, we've seen the maximum pressure on some of the financial names once again. So we'll run you through some of those in just a moment. I'll just pull them up on the screen. Okay, so continue to building up pressure there, and overall as well, market momentum seeming to be very lackluster as well. So, just to run through some names then on the downside today, Axis, Kotak, some of the names that didn't manage to really see any kind of buying activity. Even IT, I mean, we saw some of the defensives hold out somewhat. Perhaps the only pocket of the market really that we did manage to see some amount of this, minor buying coming in. Reliance was up 1.5% despite another 2 checks, so the counter's already moved up quite substantially, of course. We saw a small move on likes of a Wipro, for example, and a couple of the PSU banks, just exceptions really to the mood otherwise today. Outside of that, we also had loads and loads of names that actually took a bit of a hit. So from the financials we were talking about, add to that Bajaj Finance, ICICI Bank, metal names, so the steel majors that were earlier this, seeing some amount of traction, I think late on Thursday, Friday, today knuckling down in trade as well. Piramidal Enterprises, Titan, L&T, a whole host of names, the two-wheelers, telecom, nothing really withstanding the pressure, but the extreme cuts were limited to a handful of names. Overall, of course, we did see markets managing to just about close around that 9,800 mark. Aisha?
Yeah, absolutely. Not seen much of a material improvement from the lows, while GAIL, of course, because of the minister indicating that the company is going to be split in two, has spiked up a good 3.6%. There's a Wipro, Reliance after getting the 10th check this weekend, about 1.6% higher there, and HCL Technologies to some extent, and maybe in Hindalco, which managed to hold up in the green by about 0.5%, post its numbers on Friday. Besides that, it's really bled today, and especially for banks. Besides banks, you've also got real estate, which was really hard punished today. So both DLF as well as the Godrej property stock, that fell pretty hard. Even metals as a pack. Jindal Steel goes home with a 6.5% cut. You've got a Nalco as well with a 5% cut coming in. Tata Steel, Vedanta, SAIL, NMDC ahead of its numbers tomorrow. They've all gone home with losses. CK, what's the screen telling you? Europe has started off weak. Even right now, they're all down about 1.5%. The Dow futures indicating a gap down start of about 700 odd points again. Do you think it'll all get done and dusted with once we come back to trade tomorrow? Or do you think the chart is seeing enough weakness for us to see some follow-through selling coming in?
Well, I think weakness has emerged, but then this weakness has to be seen in the context of the great deal of strength that we saw on Friday. So I think if you take these two sessions, which have been, sizable in terms of movement, we had about 500 points that day, 95 to 10,000 almost. I mean, I'm not being exact here, but then we have had about, say, some 200-300 points today. So we are having large range volatility, but without a clue as to where the market is headed. So therefore, I think people are just following prices. And since you mentioned the Dow, I was just looking at the correlation between the Nifty and the Dow, and I was startled to see the extent of high levels of correlation. So which means probably that our market mavens have probably left the trend of the market in favor of the Dow. So now poor traders, the smaller ones, they are now reduced to also following the Dow futures in addition to following what the Nifty and the Bank Nifty etc. are doing. So all those do not make up for something which is very comfortable, which is probably in a answer to a question that Nikunj asked earlier. I do believe that this market is moving towards a range because high levels of confusion, big levels of volatility where people don't make money. I think all that leads to reduction in volumes and a tendency towards ranging. So it wouldn't surprise me to see the market get into a couple of 100 points range across the rest of this week.
Okay, CK, we'll leave it at that and we'll see you with the trading action tomorrow. Hopefully, it should be a better looking screen.